Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people for your Friday night. Rolls over into Saturday morning for some people. Get up and check. So, not great news for Canuck fans. Not great. Nils Höglander, who this year didn't look quite right. Well, you know what? There may have been a reason. He had surgery for a core muscle / groin injury, and it sounds like he's done for the season. So hopefully he's good to go next year. That might explain why he hasn't quite looked like himself this year. Bo Horvat, this is the more alarming one. Lower body injury from last night's game to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, which means he may not be good to return in 2 weeks. The biggest problem is, if you look at the schedule, the Canucks' regular season schedule is over in 2 weeks. 31 goals for Horvat. He's been a huge leader for this team. That creates a tough road ahead for the Vancouver Canucks. Who, it's going to be tough anyways. They're not playing until Monday, so they've got a few days to get themselves ready. And on Monday, they may have a couple of guys back. Both Besser and Highmore could play on Monday. And if Besser comes back to play, they're going to need his goal scoring. Because, again, without Horvat, that definitely hurts. And, of course, for the Canucks, they're not out of the picture, but the fact that Vegas is ahead of them, Vegas isn't in the playoffs themselves. They would need Vegas to kind of go on a skid, LA to lose games that they're playing against teams that they should be able to beat. Like tomorrow night, they're at home against Columbus. So Vancouver, it's a tough road. Vegas, Robin Lehner has returned to Vegas due to an illness with one of his family members. It just said family member's health issue, so hopefully everything's okay. Lehner, without him, that means that Thompson will be starting the game tomorrow night against Edmonton. It might be all right. Thompson, at the very least, has been very good for Vegas when he's been called into action. So with Lehner not available, and of course Brossoit hasn't been around either, it falls onto Thompson at this point. Unforeseen, but again, he's been good for Vegas. He was very good last night in Calgary. Linus Ullmark is out for Boston. So he only played the first period against Ottawa last night, did not come out for the second. Means that on an emergency basis, they've called up Grosnick to be the backup tomorrow. Swayman will start against the Penguins. Oddly enough, the Penguins are in a similar situation. Jarry is seen as unavailable due to an injury. So Domingue has been recalled on an emergency basis as well. So we're going to get, it looks like Swayman versus DeSmith in that one. That's an early game tomorrow. Well, tomorrow morning for me, tomorrow afternoon for anybody else on the East Coast or in Europe. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. DeSmith's been better lately. Swayman, rough go of it against the Ottawa Senators. He'll be looking to get his stats going in the right direction. Good news for Kings fans in that Andreas Athanasiou seems to be close. No updates of an encouraging nature on any of the other LA Kings players. So, Athanasiou comes back. That definitely will help their goal scoring, as I was mentioning in the video today where I talked about the standings and the playoff picture. LA, it's not a great picture for them overall right now, in that they've just had a lot of injuries. They haven't been winning a lot of games. Getting guys back would definitely help. The NHLPA making public the findings into the investigation about the Kyle Beach allegations. So, at this point, the Beach, everything that's happened with Beach has been put through courts. That's all been settled. But the reason this is important is simple. Because this shows you whether or not there's a systemic problem, which the investigation says there isn't. It says there isn't a problem. If you read through it, you'll see that there was a lot of miscommunications. There was a lot of broken down communication along the way too, where one person should have reported somebody else and didn't. And there's just, it just sounds like it's very dysfunctional. So while they said that Donald Fair doesn't, have any responsibility. He's not the ultimate responsibility in this, and nobody's really directly responsible, and it's not a systemic problem. It sure reads like it is. It sure reads like there's a communication issue where if you make a complaint, and again, it doesn't matter what that complaint is, you have no idea if that complaint's actually going to go anywhere. And if it does go to that next level, does it go beyond if it has to? What happens after? Are there any steps taken after? So what's interesting to me is that the investigation says that there isn't a systemic problem and it's fine, and then says basically they're going to make some recommendations to the NHLPA. And from what I understand, the recommendations are going to be kept private for now. So again, I don't think this is going to move the needle. If there's people who believe that everything's fine, there's nothing to see here, this investigation tells them that. If there are people who believe that there's a problem, and that if you have a complaint as a player, that your voice is not going to be heard, if you believe that, this report isn't going to change that. So, again, it didn't really clear anything up, which is kind of frustrating. Imagine just, I can't imagine watching, you know what, that's not true. There was an episode, I still remember to this day when I was a kid, I'm watching an episode of Law & Order, and at the end, they didn't catch the guy, he got off on a technicality, and then they went to credits. That's a TV show. This is real life. So, yeah, for the players, we'll see what the players have to say, and again, there's been talk about Donald Fair stepping down and what's going to happen, because at this point in time, at his age, I think he's ready to probably move on at some point soon. But they'll have to have a successor. They'll have to figure out what they're going to do. And yeah, the NHLPA, these things can get messy at times. And so we'll see if there's any fallout from this, if any players read through. And I recommend the documents available online. If you want to read through it, I recommend that you do. Dry in places, sure, but what legal document isn't? So yeah, we'll see if anything comes out of that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.